Hello and welcome back to the Rocket VA podcast. And today's episode is something that is so important when you are building your own business, whether that is a virtual assistant business or any freelance business, that is motivation, determination, and consistency. Now, I briefly touched on this in our last episode, and this episode was also inspired by having a dinner with a friend last night, and we were talking about the power of consistency in our own day-to-day lives and how that plays out. And for me and my friend Marina, we are both relatively healthy. We lead healthy lifestyles. We, are very active. We like going to the gym, playing sports. We eat well. And by eating well, I mean we never live on a diet. We have everything in balanced moderation. But yes, we do love and enjoy eating salads. And we enjoy our smoothie bowls and we enjoy fruit and veg. All of those things that sometimes in this modern society are termed like diet foods, when in fact they're actually just nutritious foods. But the reason why this kind of comes into play in this episode is because I remember so many times in my life where I have been health shamed, and this comes into play when, for example, I remember being in about at least two jobs and two scenarios I can think of right now, where I was just sat minding my own business on a lunch hour, eating salad and quinoa and falafel. And I remember someone saying to me, a specific case, "Oh, Debs, that's how you do it. Just I knew you only lived on spinach." And I was like, "Oh my God. No, I do not. I just have the consistency in my life and the balance and also the self-respect for myself that I know that these foods make me feel good. And I know that consistency plays out. And that doesn't mean that I don't eat my pizzas. It doesn't mean that I don't eat different foods. It just means that I'm balanced. And I think this really comes into play as well in your business, in your life. And if you are struggling with that consistency, that all in or out, then that kind of plays out in your business as well. And taking that same example even further, there are so many people. I'm going to take January, for example. January in the UK is deemed like Blue January because people after Christmas is the period where everyone goes all out. They booze non-stop for a month. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people. There's festive parties, there's canapes, there's treats, there's fried food, there's baked food, beige food, and lots of people go all in on that in that month, but they don't think about the consequences in January when they then want to detox and then make themselves depressed because they are literally from like one side to the other. But that's because they're not balanced and they're not having consistency in their diet. Whereas I, in general, love to eat a bit of everything, but then in January, I will still maintain the routine, maybe be a little bit healthier, but it's because I haven't gone all in or out. And I think this, when I built my VA business, I really noticed in the beginning there are a few things that I let slide that I know now are non-negotiables when building a business. And the first example is I when I was really, really going hard for it, I was living with my grandma at this point in lockdown, second lockdown, and I was so busy with client work that I had some launches on with some client work. So I was in one of my clients was a coach, and she had a launch on that week, and it was 5 days. And literally, I was in the inbox most days and supporting in the Facebook group, engaging most days, like honestly, all day. And then I had other projects as well. So I was building a website at the time and other clients. And I remember several days where I didn't even get out for a walk. And this was in COVID, in lockdown. And walking was like my main exercise. I wasn't gymming at home. And I look back at those days and how I felt, and I did not feel good. And the less I walked, the less I wanted to walk. And then I really realized that, okay, if I want to be consistent, if I want to grow my business, I not only have to maintain my consistency in momentum in my business, showing up for myself and my clients, but I also need to look after myself and show myself that dedication and consistency and the balance. And also the love, I really feel like the person who builds a business is what I say is like the engine of your business. And if you're not fueling your engine, you're not fueling your business. So first download of this episode is fuel yourself. You as the business owner, you as the VA are basically going to fuel your business forward. So if you're looking after yourself and if you have that consistency not only in your health and your routine, it's going to help you from day one building a routine and also health in your business. So let's dive in a little bit more now. I've kind of taken it a little detour from the beginning about this, but actually that's been something that's like always been a nitpick for me because I get so frustrated when people say to me things about how I eat or like eating healthy. But I'm like, no, guys, like this is how we should be. Like we should be fueling ourselves and looking after ourselves like this. And especially if you're a business owner, you should be looking after yourself. So anyway, rant over. You can tell I'm pretty passionate about that topic of well-being. And if you follow me on Instagram, I love it. And honestly, it makes you feel so good. So if anything you take away from this first section is get walking, get moving, look after yourself, look after your gut health, and you're looking after your brain and your business. So if you're thinking about becoming a virtual assistant or you've just started, it's not just about learning the tools and the skills. The truth is, the big difference between those who succeed and those who give up comes down to one thing, and that is showing up for yourself even when it's hard. No, even when there's no inquiries coming in, even when it feels like that first client is so far off, even when it feels like your big projects, you see other people in around you taking on clients and the big projects that you desire are not quite coming in. You have to keep showing up. And what I mean by showing up is doing the work, keep learning, keep posting onto your Instagram, keep networking, because consistency is key. And the more that you build it, the more that you're going to build your confidence, and the more that you get yourself out there, and ultimately the more that your business is going to grow. So let's talk about like consistency and how this plays out in the reality of motivation. So there's something that I want you to remember, and that is motivation will get you started, but it won't keep you going. So yes, you can be all motivated and have your big dream of creating a freedom lifestyle, but if you are not doing things every day that take you towards action, then you're not going to get there. So you might have the motivation in the beginning that I want this freedom lifestyle, I want to live, work in Spain and I'll work around my family. But if you have all of these intentions of going for it and then you stop yourself after a week, it's not going to work. You have to keep going and have the vision in mind. So when you're excited about the idea of becoming a VA, starting your own business, or working for yourself, it feels amazing. But that initial spark doesn't last forever. And some days you won't feel like posting, reaching out to clients, or learning a new tool. And that's so normal. And also if you're a woman, we've got our cycles. So like, day one, day two of your period, you're probably not feeling like you want to be in your outreach phase of the business. That's fine. Like just really tune into yourself and your body. And I've learned a lot working also with female coaches who tune into their cycle. And I know VA teams, or I know teams who let their team members have their day one of their cycle off because they know that that's good for them, and that's such a big part of their business and their ethics. So as a woman, you've got these things, the cycles to really look at as well. And I would really recommend, if you don't know your cycle already, to look into like the autumn, the spring, summer, winter phases of your cycle, tracking your cycle and understanding when you're in each phase, and understanding why you feel certain ways and when is best to kind of do the outreach and the more creative parts of your business. So definitely I would do that, and even I would put into ChatGPT to give you some ideas about that. But just to give you a brief overview, when you're in your like ovulation phase, that's when you're most creative, energetic. That's when you want to get all the big projects done and have your calls with people, record content. If you're struggling to show up on Instagram as it is, do it when you're ovulating. Don't do it the day before your period, because you're really not going to feel like you want to do it. So think about that as well. If you're a guy listening to this, you don't have cycles, but you still have times, I'm sure, where you go dip and flow in energy, for example, in the day. If you're more motivated in the morning, get the most important things done in the morning so that in the afternoon you don't feel like you're always behind yourself. So make sure you know how to handle those days, and that's where determination and consistency step in. And also just bring it back to how I started this episode. For me, every day I at least go to the gym or move. And what I mean by move is I go for a long walk. If I'm not going to the gym, I do Pilates class at home, but I always move. I move my mind first. I meditate for like 10 minutes every morning. And now I've started tapping, which is like this EFT tapping, which is meant to kind of regulate your nervous system and rewire new neural pathways in your brain and help you start to believe new things and really step out of old beliefs which might be holding you back. So I'm doing that. That's like my brain movement. And then I move into the body movement, and the body movement is where I get all the stagnant energy gone. And sometimes, many times, I turn up to the gym not wanting to go to the gym. Although it doesn't happen too much now because I love it so much, because I have got into the consistency and I know how good I feel. But there's some days where I don't feel like I want to go, but I go, even if it's for half an hour, because I know at the end of it, I'm going to feel better. And also I'm showing up for myself. I'm making a commitment to myself. And that's where that consistency is as well. If you're building these patterns, these habits, these routines, as a freelancer, I think that's so important because, there's no boss kind of looking over your shoulder. Yes, you have clients and your own bills and everything to kind of push you forward. But at the end of the day, you could have a day ahead of you that's technically free without any calls. And if you're not showing up for yourself, doing the things that move your business forward, then your business isn't going to get anywhere. So definitely look at those days and keep going and build a plan that build some like day non-negotiables that you always do no matter how you're feeling. So determination, like your inner drive, determination is the decision you make to keep moving forward no matter what. So let's take some examples. You might get your first no from a potential client. You might struggle with tech or something is really fiddly and you're unsure how to do it. And you might also feel overwhelmed at times. And trust me, there are going to be many times, and I'm 6 years in now to my freelance journey, and there are still times where I am unsure of something, or I feel overwhelmed, or I question if I'm on the right path, or I wonder if I can keep going. But then I always come back to it. I think about what is the reason that I'm doing this business. The reason, the real deep reason that I'm building this business is because, and this is talking in my VA brain, is because I wanted freedom and flexibility. I wanted to be able to remote work. I wanted to live a different life and I wanted to experience new things. And the end goal for me was and still is to build my own family. And that means I would love to have children one day. I would love to meet a partner and have children and build a family here in Spain. And becoming a virtual assistant and an OBM is part of that for me, and having the freedom to say, okay, clients, like I'm now doing part-time hours because I have a baby, but still working with them and building that flexibility. I know so many mums, especially who have to go back to work after 6 or 12 months because they don't have this kind of flexibility. So I'm building it now for my future self, and anyone joining this at whatever stage, you can still build this whatever stage you're in. But it's just to say that really coming back to your why is going to help you keep that determination. So I'd really recommend anyone listening who hasn't yet created their why of why they want a freedom lifestyle or why they want to become a virtual assistant, really writing it down in a paragraph and being like, my why is that I want to be able to have freedom for my family, financial freedom, time freedom, money freedom for my family, so that I can actually work around school times, we can go on holiday together, we can be more flexible in our lifestyle, and I can also provide for myself and contribute towards the family. And that's such an empowering decision. So when you're feeling overwhelmed or struggling, keep coming back to that why, and that decision will keep moving you forward every time. So, just remember, you're going to figure it out. You're not going to give up. So for everything, and I always think of this one saying that Marie Forleo, if you're not familiar with her, I'd check her out. She says, everything is figure outable. And it's so true in life. Like if I ever come across an obstacle, I'm like, it's okay. I trust, but everything is figure outable. If someone has done this before, we can do it again. And even if someone has never done it, this is an opportunity to do it for the first time. So, I always tell my students in the Rocket VA Academy, every successful VA you see has faced challenges, doubts, and setbacks, but they kept going. Determination is your fuel when motivation runs out. So just keep coming back to your why, keep yourself determined, and also let yourself, if you're a person who needs more downtime or can't go all the time, really tune into that. And also noting at this point that I am a generator. And if you're not familiar with human design, I would also really look at your human design. There's lots of websites you can go onto, like where you can actually download a free human design chart. Now, human design is based on your birth date, your place of birth, your year. So basically, human design is a self-discovery and decision-making system. It's sometimes called the science of differentiation. It blends together several different traditions and sciences to give you a unique blueprint on how your energy works and how you're designed to move through the world. So it's combining like things like astrology, the Kabbalah, the I Ching, quantum physics, genetics, so much. And basically, the result that you get is a body graph chart, which shows you your human design type. There's 4 types. There is a manifestor, a generator, a projector, and a reflector. There's also a manifesting generator as a mix. And this is all about how your energy operates. And it's, your personality archetypes, like how you're designed to make decisions, like how you're designed to work in terms of energy flow. And for me, it's really helped me understand my natural strengths and challenges. I can make aligned decisions instead of feeling like I'm forcing things. Also improve my relationships of how I understand other people that I'm working with in a team. And And for example, so I'm a generator, which means I'm very designed to kind of go, go, go. Like I can have an idea. Someone gives me a task, an idea. I get things done quick. Someone like a projector or reflector kind of needs like an invitation to do something, might take longer to do it, might be better working creative types. This is not to say if you're not a generator, you can't be a VA. Like all of these human design types can be a VA, but I would really recommend finding out what human design type you are so that you can understand not only your learning skills, but also your working skills. And I've also been working with clients recently who have actually asked for my human design because they're very spiritual into this personal development world themselves. And by understanding my human design, and when I understand their human design, I can understand how best to work with them. And, I work with lots of projectors and reflectors, and I know that I often have to like push them and ask for things, and also sometimes they really have to tune into what feels good for them. So I'd recommend to look into human design, and then this will also help you in terms of building your determination as well and your consistency. So consistency, this is the secret ingredient. This is where the magic really, really happens. So building a VA business is not just about doing one big thing differently. It's about doing small, simple things repeatedly and consistently. So think about showing up online, showing up regularly, even if no one seems to be watching at first. If you feel like no one's watching, well, they will in the future. And just think about the outcome. So right now, maybe as your audience is low, you have 50 followers on Instagram, but in 6 months, 6 years, that could be 10,000. So you got to keep going even when no one's watching. Also, think about things like reaching out to potential clients every week, keeping consistent. Even if you're not hearing back from them, check in. Keep reaching out to new ones more and more. It's like momentum builds momentum. And also spending time improving your skills little by little. So, if you're in the Rocket VA Academy, you have ongoing access to our core modules. We have our bonus guest expert modules. If you're in our international community, we're always bringing in new learnings. And if you keep improving your skills little by little, you're going to not only improve your confidence, but also improve your consistency in your business and, your skill set, and really position yourself as someone who is an in-demand VA, which is what we want to be. And then we also look at delivering great work for clients day after day. So, if you're consistent, you're going to keep building the consistency in your client's business, and you really want to be consistent for them. You don't want to be a VA who is flaky or who is inconsistent or he is not showing up for calls, not showing up for work, not keeping the team and the business on track of goals and deadlines. Consistency is key. So think of consistency as casting votes for the business and lifestyle that you want. Every action, no matter how small, is a vote for your future self. And yeah, I really believe that consistency is key. And I actually just put on my Instagram this morning a picture of me in the gym. And most mornings I kind of do, or I might not always put it on my Instagram, but I always go to the gym, like I said earlier, because it's showing up for myself, it's consistency, and it's a vote for my future self. Like I want to be strong and healthy as much as possible when I'm older, and if I do that now, then I want to, if I build it now, then it will hopefully continue and show up for me later. So this kind of takes me on to like why to show up for yourself. Like this is the most important part. This is the most important part. You really have to show up for yourself. Like there's no one else who's going to do this for you. And this also, if you listen to episode 1, I said there's no one that's going to change your life. You're the only person that's going to change your life. You have to look in the mirror and be like, I'm going to save myself. I'm going to change my life, because no one else is going to do it for you. No one's going to come show up for yourself. Like, you might have people around you who have negative Nancy voices, or who've never done personal development, or have never had their own business, and they're probably thinking or saying to you, stop doing that Instagram page, stop doing this learning, like you're not earning any money, you're not doing it, like come on, what's the point, just go get a full-time job. Like to those people, I just say thank you for sharing what's on your mind, but that's not my vision, that's not my truth. And also, I think sometimes people who have these big opinions of what you're doing, they're just so scared to do what you're doing because it takes a brave person to do it. So when you hear those people around you, those negative Nancy's, those complainers, those people who don't believe in you, just remember you're the only one who has to believe in yourself. And, I've even had times where, I left my amazing job in London and people were like, why are you leaving this amazing job? And at the time, imagine I didn't even have a virtual assistant business to go to. That wasn't even in my vision. I didn't even know about it. But imagine like what they were saying, like you're just going to leave, go to your hometown with no job, nothing. I had my network marketing business, but that was by no means bringing me the income that I wanted. So yeah, I had some people say to me like, I don't understand what you're doing. Like you're living an amazing life. you you've got a great income, you've got great friends, you've got a flat, like this is one of the most prestigious world's private members clubs. But if you know that it's not enough, then and you have to start showing up for the truth and for the vision that you really want. And my vision for life was not that vision that I was living. So I knew I had to make a change. And one thing I would say in this moment is just to pause this and say, ask yourself this question. If I continue to do what I'm doing today, will I be where I want to be in 5 years' time? If the answer is no, you need to start changing now. And it's like, it's now or never, the changes and the decisions that you make every day now will have impact on that 5 year vision. So if you keep putting things off till next week, till next month, till next year, then you're not going to get there. And, it's taken me 6 years to get here. And, those every year before that, I had progression in my business. But every year of this business has had a change and it's one step closer towards the vision. So you just have to keep showing up for yourself and not give up on that vision that you have, and just really tune into like what you want and like drown out the noise of anything else or anyone else who is not supporting that vision. And remembering, no one is going to build this business for you. So, your future clients, your future freedom, your flexibility, they're all waiting for you. But it starts with deciding, I'm going to take myself seriously. I'm going to show up even when it feels uncomfortable, even when it feels quiet, even when I doubt myself. Like the amount of times even showing up for you on this podcast, like I was thinking before, wow, I hope people are enjoying these episodes. Like I hope what I'm saying is actually helpful, and I hope that it doesn't just sound like it's a story about me, because it's not a story about me. This is a story of some of the things that have happened to me and the things that I've learned, so that you don't have to do the same things, you don't have to take the same journey. But I hope that you just get to your version of freedom faster, and I'm sure you will, because when you show up for yourself consistently, you prove that you're capable, you prove that you're committed, you prove that you're ready for success. And trust me, when you do that, everything else starts to fall into place, like in so many magical ways in your life. So don't give up on yourself and your vision. And this is honestly, I just really want you to really think about that vision right now, and that 5 year goals where you want to be, and just know that you can make it happen. And with that, the only person that can make it happen is you. So show up for yourself and keep going. So before we wrap up this episode, I really want to give you 3 top tips that will help you keep going at any stage in your business. And the first one is to break it down into small, doable steps. So big goals can feel overwhelming. Instead of thinking, I need to find 3 clients this month, focus on the daily actions like sending 2 outreach messages or posting once on social media. Small, consistent steps add up. Surround yourself with support. So don't try to do this alone, whether it's joining a community like the Rocket VA Academy, having accountability buddies, or even sharing your journey online. Being surrounded by others and on the same path will keep you motivated when stuck. Like 100%, you've got to have the right people around you. And like, I mentioned in the last episode, think of the 5 people around you. They're so important in your life. And, I'm still friends with a lot of my old friends and family, but not everyone has the same mindset as I do. But what I did to do that, it's not like cutting people out of your life, although you might have to cut some negative Nancy's out. It's just that I found a new group of people who were so inspirational. Since I moved to Barcelona, I have this amazing group of females in my life. Most of them are actually freelancers, entrepreneurs, and we each keep ourselves motivated and share our wisdom. And it's like this soul family where we're really honest with each other, and also make sure they're on track, and we share expansive ideas, we share books that we're reading, we share podcasts. It's like there's no gossip, there's no time for gossip, because we're supporting each other. And I think that's really important, is to have accountability buddies. And even when you're sharing your journey online, being surrounded by others on the same path will keep you motivated when stuck. So if you don't have these people in person, join an online community, whether that is the Rocket VA community. I hope it is, but just know that you need to surround yourself with support. And then, like I said earlier, remember your why. On those hard days, go back to why you started. Is it freedom, flexibility, more time with your family, financial independence? Whatever it is, write it down, put it somewhere you can see it, and remind yourself. And this is why I'm showing up. I'm just going to show you right now. I have little hearts, love notes, all around my desk. And this one actually says, work, money, love, joy, health, and success flow easily to me. So I write affirmations all around, like my desk or my mirrors, and I read them every day. And I just like to repeat them to myself, because these all fall back to my why, and it all reminds me to keep going. And also having affirmations, it's like this new little word, new little voice in your brain of like, okay, I can do this. It's like this remembrance. It's like this affirmation that, yes, I can do it. So, put it somewhere you can see it, remind yourself, this is why I'm showing up. So I know we started this episode with a little bit, like a little detour onto my health and my frustrations around people judging people who are healthy and consistent. But I really think that the download of that, or the outcome of that, is that lots of people are just envious that you can be so consistent and be balanced in your life. And sometimes when you're doing different things and pushing yourself out of your comfort zones and reading new books and making new friends and starting a new business and showing up online, even when you're not making money, you're going to hear people who have opinions and will say things. But just remember why you're showing up and what you're here for, and you can keep going. If I can, you can too. So if you take anything away from this episode, I hope that it is that motivation gets you started, determination keeps you going, but consistency is what transforms your business and your life. So show up for yourself because your future depends on it. And if this episode gave you the push you needed today, make sure that you subscribe the podcast so you don't miss the next one. And if you're ready to go deeper, check out the Rocket VA Academy, where we not only train you with the skills you need, but also the support in building the confidence and the consistency to create a business you love. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.